Welcome back. You're still watching Closing Trades right here on ET Now. And that's the market for you. 78.50 crossed in the session. That's a smart recovery that the market is staging. As we've been discussing, sustainable or not remains to be seen. We are in the last 45 minutes of the session left. So let's see how the markets pan out. But best time to get in a fundamental as well as a futures and options view, given that it is penultimate day to expiry. Prakash Devan joins in with a fundamental view, and Siddharth Bharme will take us through his ideas on the F&O side. Good afternoon to both of you. And Siddharth, I'll start off with you because F&O is where the focus is right now. What's your expectation on how we would wrap up this series, and more importantly, what would be the range for the next?
Good afternoon, Tanveer. First thing, most of the positions which were formed in this series right from the first week of September was not keeping expiry in mind, but what is happening globally. And we had seen huge unwinding in put options which were returned before around 78, 79, 8,000 put options were returned when we were above 8,000 levels. And then we saw call writing taking place around 8,000, 8,100 strike price. Looking at the FIS data, it clearly says that these guys are selling. There was just after Fed policy for a change, they bought for a couple of days worth of 800 crores in cash market segment, but the selling has started again. So whatever they may comment on media that India is a growth story and it's a favorite place to be in, their action is suggesting something else on the ground. So this is a sell on rise market, but purely from expiry point of view, so it's difficult to assess. But what we are gathering cues from is Bank Nifty. It is pretty evident now that there might be at least 25 basis rate cut which is coming, and to build up to that, we are seeing that banking stocks, whether it's PSU or public or private, we are seeing some sort of bounce back, and this is giving support to market. Bank Nifty is providing support to market, and you must have noticed in last 3 trading sessions there has been outperformance from Bank Nifty. Taking this into consideration, I don't think so we should have expiry below 7,800. That's the maximum which I can say at this point of time, because most of the data this series is nothing to do with expiry, but more to do with how people are positioning themselves in middle of a global haywire.
And one would imagine that the trade would be more hedged, and perhaps one might be looking at an option strategy as well at this point. Is that would you look at options within a range?
See, IVs are around 18%, and you would likely see that IVs would eventually go higher in beginning of October series. Purely from from this series, what we had done is yesterday we recommended selling 7,700 put and 7,900 call option. Now 79 on the higher side is threat, but we don't feel that in a day we will see significant upside above 7,900. Though markets have recovered from today's low, we are seeing that currency is still under pressure and rupee is finding difficult to show a bounce back. So I don't think so this bounce back is happening again because of FIS. So if at all you see more premiums in these call options and put option short triangle, we would suggest it's a high risk trade at this point of time. But I would suggest 7,800 put and 7,900 call can be shorted just from the expiry point of view.
Prakash, it's futile discussing, futile trying to contemplate what could happen in a day or two. I take on board Siddharth's point from a trading perspective, more so from an investment perspective as well. What are you doing for your clients right now? I mean, it's just so choppy. Are you contemplating buying stocks right now at given levels, or would you just wait for the dust to settle down completely?
No, both actually. In select pockets, the market's offering a wonderful opportunity to do stuff like covered call writing. Of course, again, this is an area where Siddharth would specialize more, but I luckily also have a team of derivative specialists who guide us on that. Now, what that entails or why that makes sense today is most of the large cap stocks seem to be vacillating between a very well-defined range, especially with the large cap pharma, the large cap FMCG, including, the heavyweights like Reliance and all. So what's tending to happen is you saw the way banks lost so much ground, the way they come back and lead the charge. So it's happening. It's so news sensitive now. It's kind of, triggered by events which are fairly large in the consequence on the stock price. For instance, you had Motherson Sumi lose so much of ground. I was surprised that it's in the green again. The same thing happened to SKS a couple of days back. So what's happening is the market's tending to overreact to bad news. They digest the facts and figures and then realize that after all things aren't so bad. So today it's happened to Bosch. I'm sure if somebody were to do a simple trade, you need to buy Bosch today and wait for it to bounce back. So it's a very logical, commonsensical approach. What we are telling clients to do is, wherever you have good stocks, underlying holdings on good stocks, blue chips, just do covered call writing, and that's going to yield you a lot of money in this volatility. The October series options have also got slightly more active now. This was a short series of sorts, so that's one of the reasons. But getting to your answer on fundamentally, if we are selecting something, yes, some select mid caps we've been nibbling into, and we'll continue to do that on all dips.
And what would those mid caps be? I mean, your top 3 ideas that you're circulating?
Well, we've identified stocks which are insulated from this global mayhem and interest rate sensitivity. So the first one that comes to mind is Inox Leisure. Very clearly, it's got nothing much to do with China or with the US. People, all of us will watch movies and spend on popcorn, I'm sure, even in tough days. The second one is, we like the gas distribution theme quite a bit, and now that Iran has also agreed to supply gas at a very competitively favorable rate to India, the gas distribution companies will start seeing operating leverage. Gujarat Gas is more benefited by virtue of these changes that have happened in the structure in the recent past. So we're looking at that and IGL, of course. And of course, the other area is again sensitive.
Let me just come in. Prakash, Gujarat Gas. So this one is has gotten clobbered out of shape ever since listing.
Yeah, so now
why do you like this? What's the model here?
Yeah, so people actually had a lot of expectations that they would get a couple of other companies along with this in terms of ownership when this company went in for the temporary delisting and the restructuring was on. But what's happened is this has become a holding company for a lot of unlisted entities in that gas network from the Gujarat state ownership. Now, the cross holdings have given way to simple ownership in this holding company. The equity is bloated significantly. The analyst, the street never liked all those changes because it was never something which you go with a growth stock becoming very bloated on equity is not a great idea. But now when you actually dissect the numbers, today Gujarat Gas stands to be benefited by the gas distribution model in a straight line linear fashion with a 3x multiple. What I mean is if IGL gains 1 unit in operating leverage, Gujarat Gas is almost 2.8 times. So this has a huge network, and today there are no sharing with other people that it has to do, and it has the entire benefit coming to its own P&L. So it will take time for the balance sheet to become slightly more robust, but I think it's a good story. With some patience, you could ride on it.
Okay, so that's your other idea, and we'll talk about more as we go along. But first, let's get in technical strategies at 255. Ashni, I'll start off with you. What is it that you'd recommend?
See, BEL is a buy with a stop of say 1120. Look for targets of 1175. Also, we've taken long positions now on Bank Nifty. In fact, bought 18,000 call and also Bank Nifty futures. So try to be specific instead of trying to buy the Nifty, which may top around. But I think Bank Nifty can outperform, so it's a good time to take that call and possibly keep a 200-point type of stop.
Okay, Siddharth, your top 3 strategies as of now, the ones that you're recommending to clients?
We are recommending to short Nifty at higher levels. So if at all, market bounces back to 7950 or probably 8000 before the monetary policy, and there is a cut after that spike, probably that's a good opportunity to short this market. Till that time, I'll concur with the trade which Ashwini mentioned, that Bank Nifty would show some bounce back. Did not necessarily be linear. But then for this trade, you need to have a big stop loss, probably of 16,800, 16,700, and have a target of around 17,700, 17,800 in mind. So big stop losses and not so big targets. That kind of trade should be done. We are seeing a lot of weakness in stocks like L&T, though today stock has managed to bounce from lower levels. But we don't see that the stock may sustain. We have seen huge formation of short position in this counter. So at higher levels, we would again reinitiate short positions in L&T. Then we are liking some of the PSU names like ONGC, NMDC, but purely from a very short-term perspective. Basically, this is a market where we have more clarity and more confidence on shorting index at higher levels rather than identifying stocks to go long.
Okay, and Siddharth, I just have one more question or one final thought with you before we let you go. What is it that you're betting on as top trades right now? And it is okay. Let me just try and rephrase the question. Where is it that you're seeing enough liquidity for your option trades? Which bracket, which Nifty option, which Bank Nifty option, or which stock option, wherein you'll be entering for trades either from the perspective of the expiry tomorrow or for the new series?
Yeah, so Tanvir also asked in beginning, which I forgot to answer, that for next series, what I'm looking, market range. First thing, we are not looking for the range. For us, resistance are very clear that, the recent high around 8050 or max 8100, there are very strong resistance, come what may. Even if there is 50 basis rate cut by RBI, still we may find difficult to go above this level. But we are not finding supports. People were talking about 7800 as very strong support for this series because there's so much of open interest in put option. But I think that gave way in couple of days, though we are again trading above those levels. But certainly those people who have kept stop losses of 7800 for their longs, they would have certainly got trigger. So what we are seeing is, if there is a bounce, which is quite likely before monetary policy, IVs would probably continue to stay at current levels of 18.5, 17, this range. Now looking at the global context where Chinese market are not doing well, currencies are not performing well, this IVs are not sustainable and market would be downside. Buying at the money or out of money put before monetary policy or just after monetary policy would be very prudent strategy for coming series according to us.
All right, Siddharth, thanks very much for joining us. We let you go at that. Appreciate the insights you've given as far as the futures and options queues go for, well, this series is almost done, but for the new series. Sandeep, very quickly, your idea at 3?